And who is this new voice that we have here in the studio?
Mate, I'm back. I'm back.
Lawson
This isn't a rerun.
Walters.
This is live.
The GOAT is here. This is not an AI modification of Lindsay's voice.
That would be hectic though.
Yeah,
that would be
people
so
can do that.
That'd be, imagine you just go away and we just chuck a AI voice changer on, you know.
There's like an AI robot in my place here.
100%.
We have the Lawson Walters here with us. For those of you who are new to the show, Lawson and I used to be, you know, like Batman and Robin here, like Luther and Melanchthon in the show. We are like the co-host, the best mates here on the studio. But Lawson got famous. He got called in to play in higher leagues.
Sure.
And so we ended up not being able to cover his salary, his contract aspirations, kind of like in the
that is like
the Kyle and
not
Jackie O sort of level. And but now Lawson is back here, and he's going to be giving us a series of studies about one of the things that he's absolutely passionate and experienced about, which is friendship evangelism. How do you talk about God to your friends? Lawson, look, let me just say this. My heart is leaping with joy by seeing your resemblance here today. So thank you so much for coming, man.
Yeah, look, I'm stoked to be here. I'm keen to be in the studio again because I love it. A lot of people have asked me, "Oh, Lawson, not doing Faith FM anymore. Is that because you got sick of it? Did you get sick of Scaffy or whatever it may be?" And I'm like, no way. Like, I love Faith FM. I love supporting Faith FM. Everywhere I go, I talk about Faith FM. I'm like, this is a ministry and a radio station that is blessing people.
Yeah.
And
by the way, just for people, like we were joking here about the whole Kyle and Jackie O thing here. Lawson just got an opportunity to be more involved in full-time church pastoral ministry at his current church plant and his church in Newcastle University.
Yeah.
That's why he's not with us anymore. He's dedicating a little bit more time for that, but it's good to have you here.
Yeah, and amazing things have been happening in that space. You know, I'm pastoring at this church. My wife has also taken a year off work to finish up her studies, but that's lent her more time and to spend time with me. And
wonderful. That's so good.
Reaching, you know, students and staff at Newcastle Uni and using a type of ministry, a type of evangelism you introduce as friendship evangelism. I'm going to broaden the term a little bit. I'm just going to call it personal ministry. Now, you might be thinking, what do you mean by personal ministry? Now, some people, if you're involved in church, know that we have in various churches personal ministries departments. So a lot of churches will have a department called personal ministries, and they'll be working out and finding ways how to do personal ministry. Now, what personal ministry is essentially personally ministering to others, right? So you as a person saying, how can I be a blessing to someone else specifically, individually, this kind of thing. This is what we see as personal ministry. And the reason why we tie that to friendship evangelism, the term you used before, is because I believe one of the best ways that you can personally minister to others is through friendship. Now, the reason I believe this is because of a number of experiences I've had. Firstly, how I became a Christian and what brought me into the fold of Christianity in the church, but also my experience in reaching others as well. I want to start by, I want to read a quote and then I want to read a story. And then I want to share some of my findings and some ideas and whatnot that I've derived from them.
But just before we start, can I ask you a question? Because for some people listening to it, you know, particularly our listening friends that are not Christians, they say, so does it mean that every time that I'm having a Christian as a friend, is there like second intentions? It's just like, I'm just a number. It's just so that he can approach me and preach, and try to convert me and preach the gospel. Is that what friendship evangelism is all about?
No, it's essentially, when we say friendship evangelism, we're talking here about a lifestyle and a philosophy that is, I believe that the best thing for my life is to follow Jesus. And I also believe that it would be a great thing for other people. Now, the way that I interact with people and the way that I make friends, because as humans, as people, we naturally make friends with others that have, similar interests or, even people that can be quite different, but through, kindness and courteousness and connection and relationship, we naturally make friends. The idea of friendship evangelism is, how can I, take this friendship that I'll have with a person that I'm interested in being friends with, and just in that friendship, give someone the opportunity to know more about God with no strings attached. Like, it's not that your friendship is based on whether these people take that opportunity that you're giving them to know more about Jesus, but it's, hey, like, and you can apply this in any way. Like, a lot of people, let's say, like, take something that is a great interest to someone and has benefited their life a lot. I know for some people it's a diet, for some people it's a type of exercise. You would be a good friend. If you, let's say you enacted a diet, maybe you started intermittent fasting, you eat 2 meals a day, and you've like lost a bunch of weight, feel heaps healthier, like skin's clearer, all this kind of stuff. You're like, man, I want everyone to know this. Like, the first people you tell about it is your mates. You'd call them up and say, hey, this is like so amazing. You should try this out. Now,
that actually happened to me, that exact example. A friend of mine was intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
She was like glowing and said, it's amazing. So, you know what? I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And I decided to try it because of her.
Now, the point that I'm making is that, like, you can do that with Jesus, and you can see very clearly whether that person starts intermittent fasting or not. Like, if your friend reached out to you and said, you need to try intermittent fasting, you said, no, I'm not really into it. Is that friend going to like drop off the face of the earth and never talk to you again? It's like, no way. No, but how can you, through the friendships that you have, love and show people Jesus? How can you do that? So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, I want to read to you a quote. This is by a writer named Ellen White. And she says this quote is titled Christ's Method Alone. It's a famous quote. It says this: Christ's method alone will give true success in reaching the people. The Savior mingled with people as one who desired their good. He showed sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, and won their confidence. Then he invited them, follow me. And so what Ellen White is getting at here, what she's deriving from the actions of Jesus, is that the way that Jesus thought about people is, he looked at people, he said, what is their need? He met those needs with sympathy, tenderness, and care. And then he followed that through with giving them an invitation to follow him, or to know more about him, to know more about God. And this is how we can organize and, demonstrate to people the love of God. And this is how we can think about our lives. Now, I want to show you a story where this is the case.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite stories in the Bible, like top story. It's in Acts chapter 9. It's the story of a lady named Dorcas, or Tabitha, but I like to call her Dorcas because Dorcas is such an awesome name. And essentially this story is about this lady named Dorcas, and she's in a city called Joppa, and she gets sick and dies. So this is the situation. Now, the city, those that are Christian and those that aren't Christian, are so devastated by this that they come together in community. Both sides of the aisle here come together and say, we need to solve this problem because Dorcas is amazing. We hate that she's died. And the Christians are like, well, let us try something. They reach out to Peter and they invite Peter to come and to solve this problem. And by solve this problem, I mean attempt to resurrect her.
Wow.
Like, imagine being so loved by your community that not only do lots of people show up at your funeral, but they're like,
who can resurrect this lady? We need her back.
Who can sort this out because we love her? Now, the reason why Dorcas was so loved is because she served her community faithfully. She looked at her community and she said, what is the greatest needs in my community? And one that she saw was a ministry to the widows. So she would make tunics for the widows and love and care for them. Widows at this time, 2,000 years ago, were some of the most vulnerable people in society. And so she is ministering to the needs of these vulnerable people. Anyways, this amazing miracle happens. Peter rocks up, resurrects her from the dead, which is awesome. And it says this in verse 42 of Acts chapter 9. It says, and it became known throughout all Joppa, and many believed on the Lord. So it was that Peter, stayed many days in Joppa. So essentially, what I can see here is that the power of this miracle. Like, imagine if Dorcas was like actually a really terrible person and she got resurrected. Do you think like all the people in the town were like super stoked? I mean, I'm being a little bit facetious. I'm being a bit facetious, but because Dorcas is loving and serving her community and meeting the needs of her community, when her amazing, miraculous resurrection happens. It says many believed on the Lord. So you've got many Christians in Joppa, but those that are on the other side of the aisle that just know Dorcas as the person who loves their community, who serves the widows, who is always down to be there for others, they believe because they're like, wow, like this is incredible. And here I can see a bit of a model for the kind of ministry we're talking about here, personal ministry or friendship evangelism, which is when you meet the needs of people as a loving and lovable Christian, when they have some kind of encounter and interaction with God, which they will, because everyone does. Everyone does. I have a friend I met at the university, been friends, and then just texts me out of the blue. Dude, I cannot sleep. I've been having dreams every night about God, and I need to understand them. And so he's texting, he's like, yeah, I need to meet up. So I'm going to catch up with this person today. These are the kinds of things. Everyone will have some kind of encounter with God. And I think all of us listening can think back and say, yeah, that was a really strange thing that happened in my life. And it was very miraculous and spiritual. I have no way to explain it. If there is the presence in someone's life of someone who meets their needs, who represents Jesus, that natural, connection can happen.
And how do you meet someone's friendship needs?
Yeah.
Because this is a genuine need. Like this is one thing that, because often when you think about Christian ministries, we think about Dorcas, she's a seamstress. She's, creating these tunics for women and widows and children that are at risk and they're poor, they cannot afford. But then you come to Australia, kind of like people have like basic access to healthcare. Most people that you meet, they have a roof in their heads. We are living in a place, in a moment of the economy. Maybe that will change, but so far people have jobs and all these kinds of things. So you kind of tend to think, man, like most people they already have everything. How can we meet the needs of people who seemingly have everything?
Yeah. I want to read you some statistics really quickly. Okay. So it's an estimated 1 in 3, that's 33 Australians, have an episode, 33% of Australians have an episode of loneliness every single year. In April 2020, almost half, 46% of respondents to a specific survey that I'm referencing here, felt lonely during the past week. Now, that's during COVID, but I would say, people are struggling with loneliness. Now, going to young Australians, which is the kind of area that I'm working in, 57% of young people said they lack companionship sometimes or always. 55% of young people said that they sometimes or always feel left out. Young adults reported more loneliness than adolescents. So coming out of schooling age into that, 18 to 25 or 18 to 30-year-old age. Yeah, young adults are reporting high levels of loneliness. And then finally, I want to say this. According to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, the biggest killer among 15 to 24-year-olds is suicide. 37% of the deaths in that age group. And so what we're seeing here is that people are struggling and literally dying for friendship and companionship. And this is something that for our church and what we're doing and in my personal life, we've gone, okay, let's meet this need. Let's make friends. And what that has led to in my life is just so many blessings to me, because I've got friends from all over the world and all different places. I mean, I'm really privileged to be on a university campus, a big public university campus where people literally come from all over the world to study. So I have a very interesting social life. But I've started to, because of putting the picture together here, I've started to live my life in a way that is, hey, how can I, in every situation that I'm in, for everyone that I meet, how can I make a friend, and then as a result of that friendship, introduce someone to Jesus? I'll just give one example. Man, there's so many stories. I'm like filtering through my head, like, oh, which one should I share? Which one should I share? But look, I'll share this one. So we at Newcastle University, we have a student club there. It's a Christian student club. And through that Christian student club, we run events and run a church, and through that club then meet people, right? So we set up at O Week or Orientation Week, we set up a booth and we invite people to our various events. So one day we're sitting there in the booth in O Week, and there's a guy comes walking past. His name's Tom. Tom is a new student from China. He's just come over. He's lived in Australia actually for a couple of years, but recently He just started his master's here in Newcastle. And so I see Tom walking by and I'm like, hey, do you, and start like showing off the different events we're running and stuff. And he's like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm like, hey, Tom, where are you from? Oh, I'm from China. Oh, which part of China? Oh, I'm from here. And we just start, talking about, oh, what are you studying? Talking about life. I'm like, oh, Tom, do you like hot pot, which is a type of Chinese food? And he's like, oh, just before I continue, I got something really funny to say. Last week, I met someone who listens to Faith FM regularly, and they're like, oh, you're Lawson from The Breakfast Show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, oh, you're not on The Breakfast Show anymore. I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, man, it's surprising. I thought you were Asian. And I was like, what? And he's like, you're always talking about like Asian food. And I'm like, fair enough. I'm not Asian. If you thought I was Asian, I'm actually as white as they get. I got a Ranger beard. So, that's the life I'm living. Anyways, Tom, oh, dude, do you like eating hot pot? He's like, yeah, I love it. Oh man, Tom, you're like new to Newcastle. You should come over to our place and eat hot pot. And he's like, actually, Lawson, you should come to my place and eat hot pot and we should make a party out of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. Can I invite people? He's like, yeah, sure. And so I'm there at the booth and then people walking past meeting. I'm like, hey, do you like hot pot? They're like, yeah. Anyways, what it ends up with is there's like 12, 15 people in this guy's house where me and my wife, we're cooking and hosting. We're cooking and kind of, hosting the people. Tom is hosting us in his house. We've brought all these people that we've never met before together to eat hot pot. We're like eating and having a great time and whatnot. And before I'm like, hey guys, you met us at the ASOC booth. Do you mind if we pray? Because we're Christians. We love praying. They're like, yeah, let's pray. And so these guys, they start praying with us. And then now like, so much of that group. Now we've like created a friend group of random people who didn't previously know each other. Like we were just at the
all
beach,
around the hot pot.
all around hot pot. They're like, we're at the beach last week all together, like hanging out. Like this is our group now. And heaps of them are now studying the Bible with us just because we were interested in their interests. And then I just asking them individually, like, oh, what do you think about God? Yeah, I've got so many questions. All right, let's open them up. Oh, what do you think about God? Yeah, I'm a Buddhist, but I'd love to get to know more about Christianity. Like this is where it started and this is what it is now, is that we've got all, studying the Bible with all these people that are interested about Jesus, and they don't feel like, oh, Lawson's come to us with an agenda. No, they're our friends. They're our friends. We spend heaps of time together as friends, but I've been interested in their interests, like hot pot or whatever it may be. And then they're in return interested in my interests, which is Jesus. And as a result, they're having real life-changing, amazing experiences. And so, look, I want to say this as well. Like what I'm doing, it sounds pretty big scale. Maybe you're an introvert and you're like, oh, 10 people in my house at once, or 12 people or 15 people in my house at once. I don't know about that. But just find one person just to, ask them, where are you from? What are you about? What's your story? And, that interest in them will cultivate from them interest in you. And as they become interested in you, they'll ask the question, oh, well, why do you follow Jesus? The door will open. You've made a friend and now you get to share Jesus with them. This is where we're going to leave what we're talking about today. We're going to leave it here. And what we're going to have a look at next time I come in is then, if you've made a friend with someone who's interested in Jesus, how can you share a simple, effective Bible study with them? We're going to have a look at that one next time. But yeah, hey,
sounds great.
Make a friend, share Jesus with them.
Thank you very much. I love it. I love how you mentioned, look, when we become interested, genuinely interested in people, in their habits and so on, that builds that friendship.
Yeah.
And from that friendship, like, this is what friends do. They talk about stuff. They talk about everything. And why should God not be among that stuff that friends 100%. Talk about? Actually, I think it's the best place to talk about is with someone that you trust and you can share that experience. Thank you so much for sharing with us some of these stories, Lawson. And we are looking forward to have you again with us next time for this one.